Hello and happy Monday again, everybody. So today for language arts, like we would in class every week, we are starting a new story. So for this week, we are going to be looking at a story called Green City. And this is about some different inventions and kind of what it means to be a leader and how you can help change different things in your community. So we're starting on page 330 and 331 with your weekly launch. And we have a timeline that will spread across these two pages. And we're going to talk about who this person is and how they have inspired some change. But for right now, we're going to read about Tim Berners-Lee and how he has helped change the world with a very simple, or what started off as simple, idea. I'm going to have the
Changing the world with one idea. Many people think of Sir Tim Berners-Lee as a modern-day world changer. Berners-Lee was born in London in 1955, the son of two computer scientists. Working with computers came easily to Berners-Lee. After a few years planning computer software, he began working on a new idea. He was inspired to find a way to link information. Berners-Lee developed a computer program that could store information in files and also connect to other files. These connected files, known as hypertext, led Berners-Lee to develop the World Wide Web. Learning changed forever with an amazing source of information on computers, phones, and other internet devices. This timeline shows important technology changes in the 1990s. 1990. Tim Berners-Lee develops a computer program. The program makes it possible to link files of information in one file to other files. 1991. Berners-Lee invents the World Wide Web, WWW. The web allows all computer users to find information through linking pages. 1992 to 93. First public email server becomes available. Before then, most computer users did not have email. 1994 to 1995. The first browser for home use becomes available. A browser lets a computer user find and look at information on the internet.
All right, so as you can see, our dear friend Tim Berners-Lee, shown right here, he looked for not necessarily an issue, but he saw a problem and he decided to create the solution to what these people would have needed. And as you can see through our timeline, this was not that long ago. 1990 was only 30 years. We are in 2020. If you subtract the two, you get 30. So the internet came out just probably about 10 or so years before you guys, probably 20, about 20 years before you guys were even born. And it didn't come out very much earlier than when I was born. So this is still a relatively new product. And as you can see, we have come so far. Now we have cell phones that do all of this. We can video chat. And back then in 94 and 95, being able to have your own home computer and being able to search these things and send people videos and connect over the internet was such a huge and new idea. And now we can see that in our times today, that it is such a big part of our life. And it's quite interesting to see how that timeline and how we use the internet today and how we use technology and how fast it can change when people are working on it or when there is a need for it. So something I want you to think about off to the side in your weekly question in that yellow rectangle on page 331 is your weekly question. Oops, excuse me. And it says, how can a leader's experiences inspire change? So, how can someone who's leading things, whether it's your teacher or your principal or a mayor or a president, someone who is in charge of things, who acts like a leader, how can their experiences inspire change? Maybe they see a need for certain things within their community or within their state or country, and they can help inspire some change and kind of get the ball rolling. So with our friend Tim Berners-Lee here, he he was a son of two computer scientists. So he would have seen all the different computer technology things that you can do and decided to create the computer program to allow people to connect over the internet, which he also helped develop. So what does that mean for us? What does that mean for future leaders? I would say a lot of it has to do with their experience and if they are passionate enough about something that they can really help push for a change. So once you're done with this page, we're going to go ahead and move on to our anchor chart for this week. So this is, if you just flip the page, for this week, we are working on narrative nonfiction. Last week with Milton Hershey, it was a biography. And what is important to notice about narrative nonfiction is, yes, it is nonfiction, so that's going to tell you one very specific thing about what you're going to read, or what you would read if you were reading nonfiction, and that it is about a real event or a series of events. But what's different about narrative nonfiction is it includes descriptions of people, places, and events that make the text read like a story. So it might sound like a story that maybe is made up, or it might flow better than other nonfiction texts that we might read, but it is in fact real people, real details, and things that are happening. It is going to probably be in chronological order, meaning it's going to tell it in time order from start to end. And so the story structure will have a time ordered sequence. We're not going to jump around, this is what happened last, to this is what happened in the middle, to this is what happened first. We're going to go, first, second, third, and keep going with our events. Our characters are going to be real people, or at least based off of real people. Certain stories we might add a little bit of fluff to make things sound better, or in this case, to make it read more like a story that someone would be interested in. We're going to have facts and details about those real life events. So again, that's what's going to make it that nonfiction portion. And it's going to have a theme or a message that the author wants to share. Most any reading you're going to have is going to have some sort of message that the author really wants you to understand. And so thinking about those things as you read. Alrighty, and then I went ahead and turned to the opener page of our story for this week. Remember, yours looks differently because you have your book and I am online. But what I want you to look at for the story this week for today is the vocabulary that goes along this story. So to give you some background, again, this story is called Green City: How One Community Survived a Tornado and Rebuilt for a Sustainable Future. So sustainable means that they're going to produce less waste, or they're going to learn how to recycle things, reuse things, make sure that there isn't as much dependence on certain things, and to kind of make the world, or at least their city, a little bit more of a better place. And so your 5 vocab words for the week, I'm going to read off to the side here. The first word we have is destroyed, and destroyed means completely ruined.